guys, it's a Sunday for me and it's been a nice day. It's a bit grey now, but generally speaking, it's been a nice day and I think spring has sprung. It's been more blue skies. Yes, it's rained a lot this week, but it has been blue skies. There's been some warmth. I've taken a layer of coat off. It's all good. It's all good. Anyway, I've just popped out to mark out these guys once again. I don't think they're about to go out in the field anytime soon yet. It's still quite wet out there, isn't it? Oh, big size, I agree. So it's just there. Don't eat the wood. Right. Sienna is just there, looking nice and snoozy. Anyway, we had the chiropractor for Sienna this week, which I'd obviously mentioned a few times over the last few vlogs because obviously she got cast, I think it must be 3 weeks ago now. Then she jumped out the field over the gate because you're a donut brain. Yes. And so we got the chiropractor out finally. You know what it's like trying to get a good chiropractor out. They're very popular. You have to wait a while. And my chiropractor is also my vet because she is just a very clever woman. And it was just one of those really brilliant sessions because not only had I started to pick up a few issues, right there, started to just notice a few things with Sienna that got me thinking that maybe she was feeling a little bit sore or a bit tight. For example, when she was walking down our hill, I noticed that one quarter was dropping a little more than the other. Hi. One quarter was dropping a little more than the other. When schooling her, she was particularly stiff on the right rein, far more stiffer than she'd ever been before. And you know when you just have a bit of a gut feeling. And so I was really pleased to get my chiropractor finally out. And it turns out Sienna does have a bit of a sore SI, so sacroiliac area, most likely from when she got cast. And so she obviously had some treatment. She was tight in a few other places. She was such a good girl for her treatment. I knew she'd like it anyway because she loves being pampered and groomed and massaged and all that jazz. She thought it was very nice. So she was a very good girl, weren't you? But it was also the perfect opportunity for me just to chat with my vet about any of those niggles. You know, as a horse owner, there's always a few niggles that you've got where you're worrying, like, is that a problem? Should I be worried about that? You know, especially with young horses. And so it gave me the chance to just air all that, because normally when your vet pops out to vaccinate a horse or check on something, you don't feel like you've got that time to kind of go through all your worries with them. But obviously while she was having the treatment, I could sort of air all my issues with her and go through them all. And actually I say I felt really at ease afterwards, because I kind of, lots of things that I was, she's just gonna dig, lots of things that I was kind of just not worried, but just things that were just annoying me, and I was thinking, is this right, blah blah, I could really chat to her about and just check. Turns out I'm just being a very paranoid owner. Anyway, obviously with her back needing some treatment, I've not ridden her since, actually. So we've kind of come up with a new plan of action for her, like a new work routine, because my vet did also notice that she felt she'd lost a bit of muscle across her back. One, because of obviously getting cast and hurting her back, but two, because of also she's had a growth spurt. Didn't need her to be any bigger than she is. She's already 16 but she's having quite a grow again, and so she's just looking a little bit lanky and all over the place. So here's Sienna at the moment. You can see she's got a little taller at the bum end, and I won't take a rug off, but she just dropped some condition along here. She always looked pretty good, especially as a 4-year-old, but you can see, you know, her bum is she's now a slide, and she's lost some muscle and top line across her back, and she's just, this is the patch that she was a bit stiff on. She was perfectly fine, not lame or anything like that, but she has obviously given her back a bit of a bang. So my vet did chat about sort of what we can do to help her with that. So the plan is to do more pole work with her, more hill work with her, maybe using the Pessoa or using one of those like resistant bands, anything that's going to get her using her back end a little bit more, and hopefully strengthening her up across the back. So some long and low work. Thanks, Arts. Arts has decided to go and have a pee. Thanks, Arts. So that's the kind of plan over the next few weeks, really, is to really focus on building her up. Vet also spoke about giving her spirulina to help. I am going to put her back onto conditioning cubes, because she'd obviously been on just basic horse and pony cubes over winter because of her energy levels, but going to put her back onto conditioning cubes to help with that, and really just take a bit of time to really focus on trying to build her back up again so that she is strong enough to manage future work and dressage work and all that. The vet said that I can do as much work as I like with her, but yeah, we're just specifically looking at trying to gain back some muscle along your back, aren't we, dear? And getting some top line back on you. Her neck looks pretty good, but it's just mainly her back. She's a bit weak through her back and her core at the moment. Very typical when they're suddenly having a growth spurt, and not helped by the fact that obviously she'd given her back a bit of a bang. So that's the plan. I'm actually going to put him onto the same routine as well. So he is also going to be doing hill work, pole work, lunging with the Pessoa on or a resistance band. I'm doing it very slowly, especially with Sienna, because Sienna is quite sensitive to things on her body, and so when I put the Pessoa on for the first time, which I have done before but not for a while, she was a bit like everything's jangling and stuff was touching my bottom, and so we're just taking it easy. I'm trying to build her up slowly, so doing most of the lunging and walk to begin with and walking over the poles. But yeah, that is my plan. I'll bring you along for a few of the sessions next week with her, but I thought I might hold off any riding for maybe another week or so, just to try and get the ball rolling on strengthening her back up. She'll have another treatment in maybe a few weeks time to see where we're at. But yeah, so obviously not nice that she's obviously given her back a bit of a bang, but fingers crossed with some work, consistent work, and just being kind of noticing the kind of things we need to work on properly with her, we'll get going. Your face. We'll get going back in the right direction with her carrot stretches. That's the other thing I've got to do with her carrot stretches, which is not that easy with Sienna because she's just sort of attacks you for the carrots or the lick, and I'm not sure how much she concentrates, but we've got to do that tonight. So we're adding that into the routine as well. So hopefully we're going to have a fit, strong, beautifully toned young horse in the next few months. But I feel good that we've got a good routine and a good kind of like plan set out. It's kind of nice. I was going to try and video the carrot stretches. However, I already know the issues we're going to have with her is that she's quite obsessive. Like, if she thinks you've got a carrot on her, I don't give my horses that many treats, generally speaking, because especially when they're young like she is, they get so like this. This is the problem. So this is why I don't really give them treats, because it just becomes irritating. They sort of just constantly like attack you for food. But as you can see, like, she knows I just gave her a carrot and now she's like totally annoying me. So we're just going to start with some straightforward ones. She's not very good at these, by the way. She doesn't really concentrate and truly bend, but it's just a starting point. So now she knows there are these carrots in my pocket, she's going to be obsessive. But I'll just start with some nice bending ones. So first up was a training session with the Pessoa on and doing pole work. So I don't have my Pessoa very tight. My main thing is about having the fluff that goes behind her bottom to make her more active behind, to get her stepping through and under more. And the pole work, I did a range of different pole set out. So I had this one on a fan, and it was so interesting to watch. I did all my pole work in walk because I truly believe walk is the best pace for it, because obviously the horse has to physically pick their feet up and off the ground as they go over the pole, and that uses far more muscle than when they're trotting and they've got that natural spring. It's that little bit easier for them. This single pole on its own, but obviously with a little bit of height off the ground, was the one that I saw the most kind of effort from her. Like, she had to really pick up her hind legs, and also it was the one that started to make her drop her head and neck and actually look at where she was placing her feet. And that was the bit that I got a bit excited about, because I saw her start to really lower the neck, so she was becoming much more rounded over her back, and she was obviously then using more core strength, and she was really focusing on what she was doing with her feet, and that was making me very happy indeed. So it was a great session and something I'm going to do a lot more of. So in another session, I borrowed the Pro Core Strength from Thermatex from a friend. And this was really interesting. So I started off without the bum band on, just so she could get used to it. And the band that goes under the stomach, so just a little bit further back from the girth, that was interesting, because when I did put that on, I did notice a difference with how she held herself through her body. She definitely sort of looked like she sucked in a little bit and sort of drew her stomach up. So probably very good for her core. I didn't notice a huge difference with the bum band on between that and the Pessoa, if I'm being honest. Again, very good for sort of engagement, core strength, getting them to step equally through behind, and just making sure that the hind end is active when they're walking. So, I mean, this could be good in the future for hacking. Again, I only did it for a very short amount of time to begin with, just so she gets used to it. So another thing we are going to be increasing with Sienna is hill work. So obviously hill work's brilliant for fitness, but it's also great for strength and conditioning, great for enhancing your horse's balance. It builds muscle, it engages the hindquarters, it helps the horse step underneath themselves more, and just brilliant for overall top line building. And it's definitely something I'm going to do more of. So we already do a little bit of hill work with all the horses, but I'm definitely going to increase it to help keep developing Sienna, getting her stronger across the back, improving her core strength. It was such a windy day today. It was blowing an absolute hoolie, so she was very much on her toes and very jolly indeed. But yes, this is definitely something I'm going to be increasing. Hopefully I'm going to have a very beautifully toned and well muscled horse at the end of this. So I do feel like we've got a really good plan of action for the next couple of weeks and months with Sienna to really help her strengthen across the back, improve her core strength and top line. I will get back on her. I mean, I might postpone it while it's so windy and she's on her toes, but definitely want to try and get back on in a week's time or so. So yeah, I'm very excited to see how much she develops. I have a feeling this is really going to work, especially the pole work. We're definitely going to be doing that twice a week.